Juicy Amazon tips today with Daniela Bolzmann, the founder of Mindful Goods. She's living down in Peru. She also shares some of her journey as she's run her own agency remotely from afar. Selling on Amazon is difficult. It's everything but passive income. I share videos like this one to help Amazon sellers on their journey. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. When Amazon turns your world upside down, tune into My Amazon Guy to land safely and grow your Amazon business.
All right.
Welcome to the My Amazon Guy show. I'm joined by Daniela. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
So you are in an interesting location today, and would you mind panning your webcam over so people can see what they're missing out on right now?
Sure.
So she is in Peru right now in a nice location. I see. What do we see there? What do they call those things you lay on? I'm missing the words right now. It's like a stretcher, but it's nice.
A lounge chair, or you could be talking about the pool that's in the corner.
Yeah. So you must be doing something right because you got this Amazon passive income thing going well enough. You're down in Peru, so good for you.
Thank you.
Well, super excited to have you on the podcast today. Just to set up for our listeners and viewers, can you tell us a little bit about you and who you are and your background?
Sure. My name is Daniela Bolzmann. I am an agency founder of Mindful Goods. We support brands on Amazon. And a quick tidbit about me is a few years ago, I decided to opt out of traditional living and just follow the things that bring me joy. I'm a former tech startup founder, have been marketing over 10 years and decided to get into the e-com world. And more recently, my agency brought me to that place where I'm fulfilled and I've been able to launch my dream product, which is jigsaw puzzles for people who love street art. And
that's awesome.
Now that I'm down here in Peru and true story, I actually kind of got stuck here because they closed the borders.
How long have you been there?
I've been here almost a year.
Wow.
They closed the borders and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to stay. And my partner and I decided to open up a taco shop here on the beach and got a little pup and
I don't know if you're being serious or not. And that's great.
I'm totally serious.
Well, good for you. That is awesome. I'm a little jealous. I would love to do that. I got 3 kids under 5, might be a little bit more challenging to go around the world, but, all right. So I guess the first question people are going to want to know is like, what did you do right that allowed you to do this? So let's start there.
Sure. Gosh, that's such a loaded question, but I feel like
the right answer is everything. You did everything right. You never made mistakes.
No, I actually think I did a lot of things wrong early on. In my former businesses, and it helped me understand the things that I don't want in life. And it helped me understand, where I wanted to go with this new direction. And even within this new set of circumstances, I was still trying to understand. Up until a year ago, we were a full service Amazon agency. And I decided, there was pieces of that just were not bringing me joy. And the one thing that
managing catalogs, ticketing, talking to seller support.
Yeah. And, my previous business, I had 25 employees and we had an office headquartered in Chicago, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I want to be location independent. I think a lot of people do that. Now, all of our team is freelancing women who are contractors, who have kids, who have, their own set of clients that they serve as well. And we just have all, aligned to support brands on Amazon. And it's in finding these alliances and these alignments between other people who want the same things as you that allow you to kind of delegate and grow and do so in a way that is maybe different than what other people want in life. There's a lot of people that just want to raise capital and expand their product or their agency as big and as fast as possible and then sell it. That's just not what I want anymore. So.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very mindful to me. So it makes sense. I threw that one in there, didn't I? I too am building an agency to hold. I will never sell My Amazon Guy, and I've said that so many times publicly that I will be held accountable for it. So a lot of respect for what you've built, and clearly you need no accolades to enjoy it. You're living what you want to do, and you're happy with it. So that's great. Okay, cool. So we're going to be talking about various things that people can do to increase their sales on Amazon today. You've got some hacks, tips, tricks, recommendations. So first question for you. So you guys create lots of listings. What is, a way to create a listing in, say, 3 easy steps?
The way that we break it down to make it super easy to understand is that there's the 3 components you need to be mindful of. Is how are you going to get found? There it is. How are you going to get found on Amazon? That's the first step, because we all know Amazon is a search engine. So this means that you have to have your SEO on lock. If you don't have the keywords that people are searching for within your listing, that's step number 1. People are just not going to find you. And oftentimes people think that this just happens overnight once they stick the keywords in there. But we've seen listings that can take weeks to actually have Amazon index their keywords, just because the sales velocity is very low.
What do you mean? I can't just set my SEO keywords one time and just walk away and never look at them again? Sounds like how I would build a PPC campaign, right? I'll just build my PPC campaign one time and I'll never adjust the bids. It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many steps within each one of these steps. So it's so hard for me to just try to tell everyone, there's just 3 steps. But what I'm trying to explain is how you can look at it from a higher level and just understand that there's 3 steps, which is SEO and getting found. Then it's your main image, which gets you the clicks to get people inside your listing. And then once you've gotten found, you've gotten them to click inside, how do you get them to buy? That's the 3rd step, right? And so if you just try to understand where you're at right now within that funnel, and that's your listing optimization. That's just one piece of your life cycle within Amazon, right? After the optimization piece is going to be your marketing piece, which is driving traffic and increasing those sales. But if you don't have the foundation of your optimization piece done, you're going to be spending way too much money on your ads, because you're not going to get the best bids possible. So you have to start with the framework.
I think it's a good framework. Like, so oftentimes I'll be podcasting about like super advanced stuff. Like, we're going deep in the weeds. It's really refreshing sometimes to go back to the basics. And so not only does that resonate with new listeners and people who haven't been down this path yet, maybe they're even considering going down the path, but it also is helpful to the advanced sellers who need a reset to go back and figure this out. So
exactly.
So why don't we touch base on each of these three steps a little bit, right? So like, give me one SEO hack to get found.
Sure. So one SEO tip is just one.
Pick your favorite.
Let me see.
We could do like 4 podcasts just on SEO. It's a very diverse subject.
There's so much, and there's so many tools that people already know that are out there, right? And they all kind of do the same thing. My favorite tool to use just out the gate when you're just doing your initial copywriting is WordTree. Just for its simplicity, I feel like it's one of those ones that's not overly complicated for new sellers.
Gets you going.
It gets you going. I don't think it's the more advanced tool. I don't think it's the 80% of what you're looking for, but I do think when you need something easy and quick, it's the simplest one that's out there, and it's affordable, and it doesn't require you to do monthly subscriptions like the rest of them. You just buy your credit and go. So that's one of my favorite ones.
I see your pup in the background. What kind of pup did you get, by the way?
He's a Frenchie.
Nice.
His name's Chanchito, which means piggy.
Say that one
Spanish.
5 times fast. Do you speak Spanish?
I am trying to.
You're learning on the fly. You have to now. So my older brother served a mission in Lima, Peru, not too far from.
Oh, great!
So, it was. So I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so also famously known as Mormons, and so he served 2 years there, and so that's how he learned Spanish.
Awesome. Do you know where in Lima?
I believe it was the west part. So I never visited. My parents took him back to Peru to kind of like go on a. Go back and see where you served 2 years of your life.
Oh, I love it,
if you will. Well, we're going down the Peru track here for a second. Let's do it. Let's do it. Tell me if somebody's visiting Peru, what should they do And I'm gonna guess you're gonna tell me it probably was like week 3 or 4, maybe it was month 3 or 4 when you finally discovered the one special thing, right, about Peru that maybe the tourists don't get. What would that be? I'm just curious.
Oh man, you got it. There's two things you got to do. One, Peru is really known for its cuisine. So it's food like nothing else you've ever had in your life. It's rich with so many different cultures and flavors because of all the immigration that's happened in this country. And so you'll find lots of national Peruvian dishes have been infused with Asian dishes or infused with different different cultures. So the food is phenomenal. So actually, some of the top restaurants in the world, I think 3 out of the top 20 are actually here in Peru, which is
Wow.
bananas. Yeah, and they're super progressive, doing amazing things with their food. But the second thing that's actually really fun is actually going to the little outdoor markets. They're in every neighborhood, and you can go and find, no joke, the best fruit. Like, you think you know fruit, you've never had fruit until you've been in Peru and tried a fresh piece of fruit. Like, you think you know what a mango is supposed to taste like, and then you try oh my God, you try a South American mango or a pineapple, and you're like, wait, this is what a pineapple is supposed to taste like. Wait a minute. I thought there was only Hass avocados. There's other types of avocados that are better than Hass avocados. What?
It blows your mind. So you are convincing me to sell my house right now and drive down because I have long felt that fruit could be so much better. I've been down to Mexico. I've visited Dominican Republic, and there is nothing like a tree ripened mango. So you are living some of my aspirational dreams. I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Okay. So the thing that really convinced us was, so normally my business is based in Chicago, and 3 years ago when I started escaping the winters of Chicago to come down here, I realized the cost of living is actually 1/3 of what it is in the States. So
you live like a queen down there.
You can, and you can feel all of that stress of societal norms just like gone.
There was a presidential election. What's that? I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So God bless you. That's a great way to live. All right. So there's nothing juicier than a tree ripened mango, but hit me with the best mango juicy image tip to get clicks you can give me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So getting into your main images, I'm going to actually share a few different tips because I can't stick to one on this one.
That's okay. All I'm doing is teeing you up. You can take this however you want.
This is my favorite one because I feel like if there's any of these steps, like, people know that SEO is something you have to do. They just think it's this overcomplicated thing and they don't do it, or they don't manage it or whatever, right? But then once you get into your main image, it feels like it's the thing that's most neglected on Amazon. Like, it's the thing that people are like, I have my stock image, I'm just gonna throw it up on Amazon, and it looks good or good enough, or it looks decent.
I got my image from my manufacturer. They're an Alibaba manufacturer.
Well, that's on the terrible aspect, but there's even people that'll get professional imagery done, and it's just
still get it wrong.
Like it's just falls flat, right? Like, you have to imagine that everybody is at the level now where they're getting some kind of upgraded images, right? And so what I really like to focus on is, like, what is the eye candy and the post edits that you can bring to the table? And oftentimes a 3D render is really going to be the thing that's going to help you pop amongst the sea of other competitors that are on there. So first, I'd be looking at your product and what's coming up in search and seeing, would a 3D render make a difference here? Could it really pop? And so if you just Google 3D renders, you can kind of see the difference between a 3D render versus a photo. They just look much more crisp and high res, and they really grab the attention of the shopper. And the second thing, I will say this all within context, right? We play within a gray area on Amazon where we're not blatantly disregarding, but we're trying to follow Amazon's guidance of aiding the shopper, that we're coming from the intent of, does this help the shopper at the end of the day? And so a lot of times people will say, like, well, you can't add other things on the image. You can, if it's something that's coming in your product. Is it something that's coming that is actually sold to the end user? Yes or no? Yes, it still has to be on a white background, but you can absolutely do post edits if it's going to help your consumer. So just showing a box that says 30 packets, it needs to say 30 packets, So there's these little types of eye candy that you can add in post edits to your packaging itself to help it stand out, show that it's gluten-free, paleo, whatever. Make sure the product is actually easier to read. You can do that better on a 3D render than you can having a photographer take it and then edit it in Photoshop. So there's that. Then there's also adding like close-ups of the shot. So let's say a good example would be Yes Bar. That was a client of ours, and this is true case study. Within 2 weeks of changing their main image, going to a render, doing some post edits, making the product take up all the white space, adding a close-up shot of the cookies, or it's a snack bar. They improved their click-through rate by 11.8% within 2 weeks. And so this is why I think it's the most underutilized step.
That's thousands of dollars on the line.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And imagine if you have a larger portfolio and you're just looking like you've been around 5 or 10 years, and they were already an existing sellers and selling for years. They just wanted to come back and reinvest in their Amazon assets, right? So they know they could be better. They set up their listings and didn't really think twice about it. And it's been years. So they realized it was time to reinvest right now. And so they did, and they're seeing these leaps, you know? And so if you have a super large portfolio, let's say you're a much larger company than that, and you're seeing only 2 to 5% gains across a whole portfolio, that's still a boatload of cash. So,
well, we all know, you know, if we're going to define the basics here, right? Like our goal as marketers is to generate clicks, get some conversions, and that gets the sale, right? So I like your description of the basics here, because if we can sell more products to more people more often for more money, we're gonna win this e-com game, if you will. All right, so these are some juicy mango tips here. Love it. All right, so we've gone from main images. Now let's get them to buy. So what is it that gets them to buy?
So this is the part that's actually has so many steps under it, right? Because as you're looking at a listing, there's pieces that probably can help you more than others. So you have to look at everything as a whole and understand what's the low-hanging fruit for you right now and your product. A lot of times when people are first selling, they get access to uploading their product images and their copy. And let's say they worked with a copywriter or they worked on their SEO and they got that going. They probably didn't do their main image like I talked about. But let's say you're at the step where you are getting some people to come into your listing and you want to improve that conversion rate. I'd be looking at, is your A+ content set up? But what I see most often that's incorrectly done or not done at the next level with A+ content is really thinking about your A+ content from a user perspective. So what Amazon gives you is these templates that are very modular, and the good side to that is they make it really easy for you to go to your website, copy paste, upload images from Dropbox and call it a day. The bad thing about that is it ends up being this text heavy blob that just your customers just want to keep scrolling. They don't stop to actually engage with your content, right? So if you think about that part of your page as the only part of your page that Amazon is giving you to really own and dominate and build out the way that you want, you can actually stack banners one on top of the next to create this landing page like effect. So that's kind of the approach that we've taken to avoid using text heavy modules that Amazon provides.
What do you mean? I just don't want to keyword stuff my entire module so I get some SEO traffic, you know? So design matters is what you're saying?
I would say in that section, design matters more than SEO. And again, depending on the product, right? Because if you're in a very like fiercely competitive space, maybe you do want to rely more on your SEO and get that like little bit of SEO weight that Amazon is giving you in that section, which isn't that much, but it might be something you're willing to hedge your bets on, right? Whereas what we mostly look at is that's the area where once people have looked at your title and a few of your product images, they're scrolling down to the reviews. And before they can get to those reviews, they're getting hit with all of these ads. The only thing that's going to get them to stop is some huge content that's grabbing their attention. If there's a bunch of text, they're just like, I don't want to read that.
So sounds like you got to be mindful with your A+ content.
So. You have to be mindful while you're eating a mango.
Yeah, I'm gonna be shopping for some tree ripened mangoes here tomorrow. All right, probably not even in season yet. I don't think that happens till May. But all right, so you have probably some tools that may not be as well known. You mentioned the word tree tool as well. So do you have any, maybe some other not so secret tools, but not enough brands are using them?
Okay, so the number one tool that we use day in and day out is called Pickfu. You guys
Love
use it, don't
Pickfu.
you? Pickfu is like I'm so in all fairness, I'm a Pickfu ambassador. I help them with their video content, but only because I reached out to them because I was obsessed with their tool. So
Nice.
it's not like they found me and came to me. I came to them and I said, look, you guys have something, and every Amazon seller needs to know about it because it's amazing. We actually use it with every single client project. We used to only use it for main images, and now we use it from almost from start to finish as more of an iterative process, right? So we try to understand first what's going on with the client's website, what's going on with the Amazon listing, what's missing for shoppers here. Let the shoppers tell us what's missing, right? And then that's going to help us prioritize what needs to be fixed right off the bat.
So I actually
Then
have
we'll
Pickfu
use it.
coming on my podcast next week, believe it or not.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah,
How funny.
So last month they were on the Helium 10 Elite training, and I just thought it was a phenomenal presentation. And I immediately reached out and I was like, hey, I need some of this special thing you got going on. And I've known Pickfu and I've met with them over the last couple of years, but all right. So what made it
the 11.8% gains that we saw with YesBar was testing that we were doing with Pickfu. So we did a series. Usually we'll do like 1 to 3 different split tests within Pickfu. So we'll do ideation around the main image. And then we'll come up with like 3 different versions. We'll test those versions, we'll test them against the original to make like really confirmly, concretely determine that this is a winner. And then we upload just that image before we upload anything else to Amazon, because we really want to try to isolate that one change and understand whether it's working or not. And that's how you're able to see, especially if you're not running too much advertising, you're able to see what's going on.
So you bring up a good point here, right? So A/B testing has been around since the age of time, but with Amazon, there isn't really a way to multivariant test at this time. Like you can't decide like A plus Z is better than B plus X at this particular junction. So your tip here is to make it a true A/B test so you can understand it. That's what I'm hearing from you. Is that a fair assessment? So
yeah, definitely. The other thing that I think people do is they think just one test is going to get them the data that they need, but oftentimes the one test is going to help you understand
the other
series
17 tests you need to run.
It's going to help you understand. Well, usually like 1 to 3 is what we shoot for.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because you'll identify that maybe the shoppers leave all these comments, right, of why they chose one over the other. And what you do is you bucket the comments in, or what we do is we bucket the comments to understand what are the themes of what they're saying, what are the patterns in the language that they're using. And then once we understand which words or phrases are most repeated, we can understand what's missing or you know, what we need to fix or whatever, right? And so we'll go through and change the design just a little bit more. Let's say they didn't understand that it was low sugar and they were curious how many calories it has or whatever the product is. You would just add the tidbits that people are mentioning in the comments, upload the new images again, run the test again, and verify the results, right? And now see what people are saying and see if there's another incremental gain. And I'll share one really amazing test that we ran with with a partner agency, Marketplace Seller Courses. We were sharing a client with them, and we uploaded a picture of just the product to Pickfu and asked, what do you think this product is? And 95% of people had no idea what it was.
What do I do with this? Do I eat it? Yeah.
Okay. And this is a product that is not only going to be sold online, it's going to be sold in like the Home Depots of the world.
Sure.
Okay. And so imagine you're going to market and people have no idea what this is, or you're trying to sell online, people have no idea what it is. How are you going to get sales? And so we were able to work on the packaging a little bit by just adding a tagline and a sticker to the front. We did no printing. Okay. This is all done in digital format. So imagine you take a picture of your product into Canva, free tool, draw a fake, create a fake packaging on top of your product, which is really easy to do. And then create a fake sticker on top of your product, drop some icons in there to show people what it does. Take another screenshot, drop it into Pickfu, run the same test. 65% of people knew what the product was just based off of a simple lo-fi digital test, no printing done, no costs, and then based on that second test, we identified a set of 20 keywords that shoppers were saying over and over and over again. And we said, okay, great, that we can use for SEO and use that for our SEO research. But then the final thing that we noticed is within that 40% that still didn't know what it was, there was a 20% of them kept mentioning the same word over and over again. So we were able to move that back into the packaging to improve it a second time.
That last part's interesting. I don't think people would have caught that. So that bears worth repeating. So you duplicated some concepts.
Yeah. So we basically we did the same steps over again. We read all the comments to understand, like, now are they getting it or not? Then we realized 65% of them got it. But then we said, well, why are these other people not getting it? Why don't they understand what it is now? And of those, 20% were all bucketed into this final piece of, like, they thought it was this other thing. And so we need to make it clear that it's not this other thing.
So that's interesting. That's really interesting. So, most average day household good items are not going to have this kind of giant problem that you've run the exercise through. But for the engineers out there trying to solve the next problem that nobody knows or has, fun fact, Wonder Bread took 3 decades to try and convince everybody that sliced bread was the next cool thing, right? It took a very lengthy time period for sliced bread to catch on. So if sliced bread took a couple of decades, it kind of makes sense. It might take a few months or years for some new concepts to get hold. So a little bit faster with the globalization. Amazon definitely helps accelerate that. But yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I mean, think about how people were doing these kinds of testing before. They were doing like focus groups or like shipping products out all over the country. Like how time consuming, expensive, and bias can be introduced in the process, So this is just, most of my tests are usually take less than an hour, cost less than $100, and it's done. I mean, I use it for my own personal use too. Like we had to trademark our logo for Mindful Goods, and I needed to understand what tagline was going to work best. So I ran a test for our own needs,
So your tagline is Amazon listings done better? Is that the one that won? Sweet.
Yeah, that's the one that won, because the other one was a tongue twister, people said.
Do you mind sharing?
Launch ready listings.
That one is a tongue twister. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was going for clarity above all else. So it also depends on what you as the founder want, So we had a split test that we ran, and one variation won by 10% more than the other. And at the end of the day, when you looked at the patterns of phrases that the shoppers were saying, the founder and the direction that she wanted to go with this brand was actually more aligned with the losing variation. So they were using words that she preferred, that were more of her target audience. And so, like, at the end of the day, this variation might not win, but this one could be who your target customers are. And so you just need to improve this one,
Yeah. So the concept that I've been trying to go with, so like, I'm not a branding guy. You could run circles around me. I have hired like firms like Cult Branding back in the day on my corporate track to help fill in my own personal gaps. So at my Amazon guy, I just simply go with, we grow sales. And so like every contract relationship, I'm like, yeah, you get on the phone with me. And if by the time you hang up, if you think I can grow your sales, you should hire me. That's my brand. I don't know if it stacks. I haven't tested it. I might have to do some brand focus like you mentioned.
You'll have your answer in an hour. It's great.
I'm going to have to go test this out. All right, cool. So as we kind of wrap up here, any other words of wisdom you would give? Cheerleading, whatever it might be, floor is yours. Shed some wisdom.
Sure. I guess there's one thing that I've always come to believe is that, so I had a tech background. I went through a program called TechStars, where we had so many amazing advisors and people who are, run multi-million-dollar companies, and everyone is going to have a thing to say, an opinion about your business. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that you are the best person to run your own business. And much like you and I have chosen to, just, block all that out and do our own thing the way that we want to do it. It's very much that kind of soul searching that at the end of the day is going to help you get to the place that you want to be, and then blocking out all the noise, because everyone else is always going to think they have an opinion about your business. So
and then they want to get a stake in your company and they want to help you run it. Yeah, been down that path.
Especially right now.
I'm a single owner and I like it that way. So I'm
a single owner. I love it that way, and I actually am so proud of the fact that we are working with so many freelancing females who are all also single owners and single moms, and just so many people that are opting out of a life that society probably told us that we should want,
I'll come out and say it. Society lies. And there's a lot of things that people say and do that you probably are better off coming to your own conclusions on. Think for yourself. My 2 cents to add on to your 2 cents today. Well,
yes.
Pleasure having you on the podcast. Very refreshing,
Likewise.
Juicy. Even I might say, I'm going to probably throw that in the title of the podcast. And I really, really appreciated you coming on today.
I'm actually going to stay tuned for your interview with Pickfu. I want to see you do your testing with them. Do your testing with them live. That would be fun.
If they can do that, oh man, I'm going to start writing an email right now. That'd be really cool. Well,
that'd be rad. You could start it at the beginning and give everyone the results.
I think that is an incredible idea. So I'm going to make it happen. All right. Thank you again for the insights and the encouragement and the great story. Hope you enjoy your time in Peru. I suspect you're probably never coming back.
We'll see. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks so much. That's the My Amazon Guy podcast. Hit that subscribe button and share this episode with somebody who you think needs a juicy mango or Amazon tip in their life today. This was the My Amazon Guy podcast with Stephen Pope. Each episode helps you grow your sales on Amazon through ideas on traffic and conversion rate improvements. Hit that subscribe button right now to tune in each week. And if you need more help, go to myamazonguy.com.